Hi guys, welcome to the Black Man Spotlight. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited about this episode. This is the Affion Crockett Black Man Spotlight. But before we start, please be sure to hit that subscribe button below. That is how we grow. That is how I get my team paid. And that is how we create more content. So please hit that subscribe button. And if you are feeling generous, don't forget to hit that like button and comment what you feel about the interview, because Affion gets deep. If you are someone who is dealing with a lot of stress, depression, or chaos in your life, Affion really pours in this interview on how he deals with it and how he maintains a calm demeanor no matter what is going on around him. So if you need to be poured into this season, this is the episode for you. I am drinking out of my I Am Already Him affirmation mug today. There is an affirmation in the back so I can drink abundance, drink love every single day, first thing in the morning. So if you would like to purchase my merchandise, you can click the link in the description, affirmationsforblackmen.com. I am selling these mugs. It's something that I made myself and wrote myself for the Black men who are just looking for a little piece of daily love. So Black man, Black woman, anybody watching, really it doesn't matter. We welcome everybody into this conversation. I'm super excited to present you Affion Crockett. Hey guys, I'm here with Affion Crockett right now. I'm so freaking excited. I just came back from his show last night. There's so much to talk about. It was mad crazy, but lots of different gems, lots of different things going on. Originally, me and Affion met at the Pan-African Film Festival because of my mom's documentary. Shout out to my mom. Mom, I love you. She has this beautiful documentary called Sisters Getting Well. And then I met Affion at in the reception area.
Yeah, we were in the hallway of the theater.
Yeah, and then he was pointing at me, but I thought he was pointing at something else. So right. I was looking behind I was like, what do you
I saw you. I remember, I was like, I know her face. And I was like, wait, that's the Affirmations for Black Men girl.
What?
Yeah.
So when did you see my content?
I've been seeing your content. Before we met, I probably had seen it about maybe 6 months before that. It would just keep coming up. And then every now and then someone would send it to me because you would have, a message that's right for speaking directly to Black men.
What?
And someone would send it to me or just DM it. And yeah, so after a few of those, I just randomly was like, is that her? Because it looked just like her. You know what I'm saying?
I'm honored because obviously I recognized you. And then we took a picture and my auntie was all up in our picture.
Yeah. She's trying to commandeer the photo.
Yeah, I was trying to get a one-on-one photo, and my auntie's all in it. I'm about to put that on here. But auntie, I love you too. But Affion, I saw your show last night. It was absolutely amazing. And one of the things that I love about
you sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you your affirmation. What I loved about your show last night and you in general is besides the raunchiness of your show and all the things you're talking about, I could feel the atmosphere of you allowing Black men to be themselves and be free because that's what you exist in. And a lot of your audience is Black men, which is also something that I can relate to. We're on the completely different opposite ends of the spectrum of the content we put out, but what you do is important because I could feel people coming from a long day at work. It was Friday yesterday, you know what I mean? And they were able to let off steam. The belly laughs was crazy. Yeah. The relationships that people felt to you. People was coming up to you while you was doing your stuff. Yo, you know what I mean? Thank you. And so I could resonate with the fact that even though we do things differently, it's still in alignment where we're allowing Black men to feel seen and heard. And I just want to give you your affirmation and tell you that's how the room felt. And then also what I loved about your show as well, in addition to that, was the way that you were able to connect white people and Black people through music.
Yeah.
And I saw that you kind of had little conscious gems that you were dropping in your set for connectivity at the same time while making people laugh, while building this bridge. And so I really do respect that as well. And so I want to start off the conversation of who's your favorite comedian and your inspiration behind what you do?
Eddie Murphy, hands down. Eddie Murphy is my favorite of all time. And then you have Chris Rock, George Carlin. Before George, there's Richard. There's so many. But as far as the ones that shaped me, the ones who are thinkers and really brash and really brash with gems. George Carlin, who's one of the illest white dudes to ever touch a stand-up stage. He just had that thing. And Chris Rock is a fan of George Carlin too. A lot of people are, but he's one of the architects of it. Richard Pryor is very in your face. And before it was popular for black men to even do that, he was one of the first to just be like, I'm gonna just tell my story, I'm gonna just be me and have my message really clear, but shocking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Bill Cosby, I mean, outside of the other shit that he's accused of, as a comedian, his style and his writing is brilliant, the way he executes storytelling. Martin Lawrence, the animation. You see, I break a full sweat on stage. So the animation, Damon Wayans Sr., the whole Wayans family. So yeah, it's a long list of people, but Eddie Murphy is my all-time, all-time. He covers all bases. He could sing, he could do impressions, dance, and if you watch Delirious versus Raw, Delirious was him saying, all right, I'm gonna show y'all how funny my thoughts are and my observational skills are. Raw was him talking about relationships, game, being successful, and the trappings of that. Like, he really went in with I think that was the first real relationship set that now all of us are doing. But Raw, if you rewatch it, it was all gems and game in that joint.
Yo, I love that. Like, you study it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just come off. I feel, but it seems so natural at the same time, which I also think is a skill. You know,
you gotta make it conversational. Yeah, and to your point earlier, like how you and I do different things, but the same goal is to be met. There's a time and place for everything, right? You choose to give men honey. I choose to provide a gym for men to go hit that heavy bag. That's what my comedy is. Like, we got to release that energy. So the message sometimes, it could be the same message, but how it's delivered varies. You know what I mean? And because I'm a man, I understand how we got to release that steam, and it ain't always about honey. Honey is needed, right? Most black men don't like to see, or don't like people to see us needing to get hugged and needing to just rest on our woman's bosom and just be able to just breathe. That's when we need that honey, that nurturing, and that what you provide, right? And then there's the big homie on the corner that's like, hey, little nigga, like, you gonna be good, but you gotta keep your fucking head on straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta talk to niggas like that so that they understand what it is as the big homie. You got to be able to switch those gears up. And then you can be a little softer as a man too, like, you know what I mean? But you good. You on the right path. You can still have gears and layers in there, as my show is. My show is all of the layers. But there's times when I'm gonna talk really hard, and then there's times I'm just lighten it up and be just silly. Yeah.
So how old are you? I know, but
I'm
I
51.
want everybody else to know. That's
51.
insane. You look 35. And so
I'll take it.
Mad young, yeah. So you've been in this industry a really, really long time. Like, we're talking about decades ago.
Yeah.
And
since '94.
That's when I was born. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, my birthday's about to come up, about 3:30, September 20th. But so how have you been able to sustain your level of success and just influence and income all these years for about 30 years?
It's about hard work. It's about being relentless with being fresh and original. Like, I don't have gimmicks, right? Like, I do impressions, but for me, I don't do impressions in a gimmicky way. I just do it in a fresh, relevant way. I talk about what's happening right now. Like this whole thing with Jay-Z and Lil Wayne and the Super Bowl. I just figure out a way to make it topical and fresh, as opposed to if I was doing an impression of somebody from the 90s, like a Pee Wee Herman impression. Everybody was like, all right, but that's cool, but we're not talking about Pee Wee Herman right now. That's not what's happening today. Mm-hmm. So I just try to figure out what inspires me every day. That's what keeps me in the now and keeps me relevant with young folks that look at me now who don't know how old I am. They may be just discovering me. Even though I've been in the game for a minute, I'm flexible in my mind to say, I don't need to be well known by everybody right now. There's people that know me really well, and there's people that don't know me at all. So I just play in the middle of all of that. I paint in all of that canvas. That's a whole canvas for me to paint. So for my people that know me really well, it's a built-in audience. I know what they know me for. I'm gonna give them some new stuff here and there. But for the ones that still discovering me, my canvas is clean. I can give them anything. Whether it's a dance video, whether it's a whole entire hip hop movie, whether it's a podcast interview, whatever it is, I'm still discoverable, and I have so many things in my arsenal. And again, it keeps me relevant now. I just stay in the now. You can't drive your car from gas that you put in your car 6 months ago. You can't.
Okay.
You got to put new gas in. So when people try to sustain their career and their livelihood off shit they did 6 years ago, you got to switch that up. You can't stay stagnant. You got to always be creating.
Yeah, I see you always creating, always moving, doing interviews, different cities, your movie, a hip hop story now. You self-funded, by the way. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How is that doing as far as like the engagement of your audience and having your own independent film? Like now that you are on this end of it, you're not in it, you know what I mean? Maybe, and like stuff like that. So like, how did that go?
No, it's great. It's still great because again, it's still discoverable, right? And the ones that find it, they're like, oh shit, this is the greatest shit that I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I love having that secret nuclear missile that it's in my back pocket, and as soon as people see it, they're like, yo, I did not know it was on this level. And how intricate this movie is, and how many layers, how many characters, how many storylines. And people that don't really know hip-hop history like that, they come away from the movie saying, shit, I learned so much. It was educational, it was funny, it was raw, it was layered with talent everywhere. Guests like Cedric the Entertainer playing Biggie in a flashback scene, like it's going great, and it's opening the doors for even bigger conversations for me to do the next several things. As
a creative, I'm like self-funding a big project like that and putting all that energy. In the meantime, you're still working. You know what I mean? And so you put a lot of energy into it. Is there something that you would have changed about it?
I honestly, I wouldn't change a note. Like what we did was meant to be. Even in the midst of doing it, we didn't realize how great it was going to turn out. And I'm not a person that has like regrets or goes back and laments over certain things. Like, oh man, I should have did this. I don't do that. I feel like whatever I'm doing in the moment is what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's fine.
And I just go. I go with that.
So you meditate? Like, how do you maintain your mental health? Like, I'm sitting here with you right now. You can't film on the camera, but you have a really calm, you know what I mean, cool demeanor. So how do you maintain that?
It's just a part of who I am.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not something that I have to work to maintain. I'm very intentional about keeping bullshit away from me. If it's people, if it's their problems, I listen really well. Part of the reason why I do impressions is because I play music by ear since I was 5 years old. I could hear melodies, I can hear shit. So when people are talking, I just listen to hear what's coming out of them. You can hear if someone is a consistent complainer, or if someone is consistently happy. You can hear all that stuff in what people are saying. If someone's optimistic, if they're doubtful. So yeah, I just try to keep negativity and stress as far away from me as possible, and yeah, I don't have to work at that. It's just me.
So you're lonely. Is what you're telling me?
Not at all.
The Black community for me, like if I'm gonna be in the community, you know, and like kind of be around my people, my family, like all my friends, like it's stress. So it's stress. It is, because everybody's dealing with their own stuff. You know what I mean? So like,
you have to surround yourself with more healed people. My community is great. And not to say that people don't have problems. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, how do you handle the problems? We all have shit. But how do you handle the problems? How do you adjust? What do you believe about this problem? Do you believe the problem is bigger than you? Do you believe the problem is bigger than God? What do you believe about the problem? So that's how you problem solve, basically. That's how you kind of think about it. Is this under my control, or do I give it to God? Ultimately, Yeah, you can only control what you can control. I don't stress out about things that I can't control. Once I know it's that level, God, you got it. I turn it over to you. You know what I mean? But there are certain things that he gave us power to be able to rectify and shit. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have to be intentional about peace.
Oof.
You can't
What?
make the excuse that my community, they're all stressed out about stuff, so it's hard to find. There's 7 billion people on earth. So there's other people that think peace too. So if everyone in your circle is chaotic, then you have to look at yourself and see why you're drawing the chaos. Maybe you haven't put up enough boundaries that says, do not bring chaos to my doorstep.
Yeah.
I've put up those boundaries. People know.
At what point in your career and in your life were you like, it's walls up, boundaries up, I gotta make a shift? And is there something that happens that kind of sparks that for you?
No, there was nothing drastic. Nothing. I mean, I grew up in a fair amount of trauma, but I think maybe it was that my home life was fairly traumatic. So there were things that when I knew that I got free of my parents and my household, and I was setting up my own life, I just knew what kind of a life I wanted for myself. The opposite of chaos. You know what I mean? So in that sense, yeah, there was some changes from my household that I knew I wanted to get away from, or some things in my household that I wanted to get away from. But yeah, since I've been on my own and independent, it's been intentional that my life is going to be a smooth, peaceful one. And again, not saying that everything goes smooth or smoothly, but how do you respond to adversity? You can choose how to respond to adversity. You know what I'm saying? There's a very organized way. Case in point, one time, this is early in my stand-up life, I was doing this show in Alabama specifically. Somebody invited me, and there was a white dude that was hosting. He's younger than me, he was like shorter, and he ain't know nothing about black people. So we got invited to the blackest festival in town in Alabama. So we go down to this festival. As soon as we get down there, there's vendors, there's families, there's, there's all, but it's black. It's black as fuck. It's cookouts. You smell the burgers, and it's in the middle of the night. Like it just turned night, like 7:30, sunset. It's nighttime. As soon as we get there, they get some ruckus starts, and the whole crowd is running toward us, or in the direction, like literally toward us. I put him behind me, and I literally just stood there and waited and looked. And it's almost like my energy was weaving in between the people. It wasn't something that I was taught to do. I just was like, in the moment, my choice was, I'm not going to respond like they're responding. They're all running. If I turn and like get frantic, I might trip, fall on the ground, get trampled. So being able to stand and face the crowd and see everything that's coming to me, I felt like on some Neo from the Matrix type shit. Like I just was able to just stand there, and they all went past me. No one ran into me, no one knocked me over, and he was safe behind me. Probably the greatest experience of his life and the most terrifying. But for me, I'm comfortable around black people and black chaos, but I choose to respond differently to the chaos. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's the metaphor. That experience is how my life goes. So even when shit is all going crazy around me, I figured out a way to just stay there and assess what's going on.
That's why I asked if you meditated. Because I think that's what I have to do to get to that state. Like every day when I do my affirmations, I'm meditating to get into like my flow state where I feel that. And then I just see you being able to turn. And then I saw you on stage last night, and you're able to turn on something, And then now you're in a completely different mode. It's a different part of the day. You're chilling, and so I feel like you're tapped into something that's bigger than yourself. And is there a process to that, or how do you feel about like my perception of it?
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it definitely is God, right? I'm a spiritual being. I understand that we are not our flesh and bones and our minds only. So God is love. God is peace. He's all the things. Oh, whatever you believe God to be. I don't preach my version to anyone. I just know what works for me. I don't know. I think we all have a choice, or we have choices. When we wake up every day, you can choose to be positive or negative. You can decide how life is going to go. And again, even when shit is coming at you, you can decide how you want to respond.
This is good. This is good.
I have a question for you.
Hold on, I gotta absorb this. Because you're preaching to me right now, my experience and the stuff that I'm going through, and like your peace and your calm just right now in your demeanor. Okay, thank you. We have like 5 more minutes. It's just kind of making me feel it too. And that's the thing about power and resonance, is when you feel something within yourself and you're in a room, it's like projected. You can make other people feel what you're feeling, and I think that's why what I do. That's my intention, is to feel peace within myself and then project it. And the same thing maybe with comedy, you know, same thing. Like that's how you. This is so good. But okay, you can ask.
But it feels like for you, you have to work at peace, and you're still trying to figure out how to do it. So where's the chaos coming from in you or around you?
I have a big family. My granddad had like 10 kids. And so like we will group think together, and you'll have to problem solve together. You'll get phone calls, this and that. And I'm a really good problem solver. And then so I'm also like sort of the calm one out of my family. So people will come to me with things. And I guess it's my lack of boundaries. To your point earlier, because I was like, when you said that, I was like, oh, he's stabbing me in the heart, you know, when we were talking, and I was like, oh, so I have a hard time instituting boundaries, because I care about the people I love so much that I want to let everybody in when they're feeling stressed and chaos in their life. So yeah, that's kind of where it's coming from right now.
You can still care about them while establishing boundaries. It's the analogy of, on a plane, put your mask on first, right? So by establishing boundaries, you put yourself in a position to be the healthiest you can be, and you're even more valuable to them, and you care about them more by being the healthiest version of yourself. You teach people how to treat you, so if they know they can always pick up the phone and just dump their stress on you, you're teaching them that it's okay. You have to now establish a boundary. You have to literally tell them, all right, after 7, don't call me. Don't call me with this. We'll figure it out. It's all good. I love you. But do not call me with this. We have to figure out a different way. Don't freak out about it when it happens, or when the stuff happens. Stop freaking out about it. You have to set the tone. And that's where the boundaries come in. Boundaries are not bad. And they're not meant to offend the people that you're around. If they offend them, then you have to question who's coming at you. If your boundary offends anyone, then that person doesn't truly care about your well-being. They care about what they want.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm just waiting for my man to do it. Nicole's not available right now. I'm sorry. Look at him shaking his head. He's like, but you know what I mean?
No,
like,
I don't.
Once you get that partner.
No, you're 29, and I gotta not let you get away with that cop out.
Okay.
You're responsible for your own peace, and he's responsible for his peace. And together, you'll be a great team, but you have to take responsibility for your peace and your boundaries. That's an individual sport. Boundaries is individual.
You're not lying. You're not lying. You are not lying. I didn't think this would be a therapy session for me, guys. But my last question to you is, now that, you know, I feel like you're at the pinnacle of where everybody wants to be. You're creating freely. You're moving freely. You can work with who you want to work with. You don't have to. You know what I mean? As a black man, you're here. like you have arrived. And so I think a lot of people looking at you and who want to be in your position, who want to have your life, are listening right now, and they want me to ask you. I can feel it. How does it feel? Is it worth it? Is it all the hype where people are like yearning for this? Like, how do you feel in this moment as you're sitting here, as you like and manifest all
Well,
these things?
it's not completely what you're saying. Like that's not accurate. I can't just work with whoever I want to work with. You know what I mean? Like there's still steps to everything, and there's still politics, there's still this and that. But I'm in a good position. I've worked really hard to get to the place where people in Hollywood, some see what I do and they respect it, and but I don't look to them to validate me I don't wait for the job. I don't wait for the opportunity. If they're not giving it to me, I just go create it. So yeah, it's everything is worth it. If you're working towards your goal and you're doing what you love, it's always worth it. Hands down. Like, why not do the things you love as opposed to doing what you have to do?
Right.
Take the bet. Take the gamble on yourself.
Is there something that you wish you would have known now as a lesson, now that you're at this part of your journey, before you started?
I just don't take anything personal. There's going to be opportunity for people to offend you and to question you and to do all the things that make you feel slighted. Don't take none of it personal. They don't know you. So who they're slighting is who they think you are.
Facts. That's fire.
But they don't know the real you. So don't get up in arms about it. Don't get frantic about it. Just take it with a grain of salt. They're looking at you as a product. They're looking at you as this pen. They don't know what's all inside this pen and what encompasses that pen. So don't take nothing personal. People don't know. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
Mm-hmm. That's fire. I'm going to end it off like that. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for coming.
But of course.
Oh my gosh, y'all. I just interviewed Affion Crockett. I'm so excited and I appreciate you. Yo, like, you are definitely someone that I wasn't expecting now that I got to really talk to you and learn more about you. And so I appreciate you for coming. And my affirmation to you, because I always like to do affirmations for my guests, personal one-on-ones, is like, not only am I so proud of you, I think I'm at the point where I really do admire who you are spiritually and how you're able to embody your spirit, and like not just the calmness of it, but the knowing, like you have this powerful aura about you where you know who you are, you know what you want, and you're unapologetically yourself on stage in different forms. And that's why I say I feel like you're tapped into something, but it's really, now that I'm learning more about you, it's really you. And like it feels so amazing to like talk to a Black man who's like he's filled up with himself, not caring for validation, what other people think, and then just continuing being present and like continuing to live life as if it's your last day or your first day.
Yeah.
And being as humble as you are. Like, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing space with me. And I'm just gonna open up the questions if any guys in the back want to ask anything. But yeah, this is dope. This is dope. That's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for coming. If you want to watch a little bit more about the behind-the-scenes questions, you can go on Ricardo Morant's YouTube page. He's my videographer. I just want to shout him out, and you gotta check him out. He's the best videographer in Philly. And if you have any questions in the comments, let us know and we'll answer it. So catch you later. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, all the things. We're gonna definitely be back, hopefully. Peace.